All right, hello and welcome back to another wee bit different video. Today's video, we are going to be doing an NBA starting point guards 2025 tier list maker. And for those of you wondering, why is there a baby in the video? Mom is currently busy, so it is dad time. And unfortunately, dad didn't prepare a video at midnight, so here I am with the baby. Don't mind her, she is chilling, she is eating right now. So for now, let's get back to the video. NBA starting point guards 2025 tier list maker. I think I said at the start of the video, but as you can see, Matt is a bit occupied. Anyway, we have tiers S, A, B, C, D, F. And to be honest with you, I did look at this list of point guards beforehand, and I thought to myself, who would I put at S? Who would I put at A? S is, of course, going to be the elite of the elite. A is going to be really good, but they aren't Shea kind of good or Steph Curry kind of good when Steph's at his best, of course. B would be more so your DeJountes. C and D and F we'll get to as the list goes on and on. But starting with Anfernee Simons. This one is actually a bit of a surpriser for some people because they're not familiar with the name. Anfernee Simons is only averaging about 19 points per game. I say only, but compared to someone like Shea who's averaging 32 points, whatever it is, you know, it's not going to seem like a lot for Anfernee. But the difficulty of degree that this guy takes with his shots is insane. His playmaking can be really, really, really strong, and it can just jump out the screen immediately. Jalen Brunson, to me, this guy is an S tier starting point guard, not an S tier player, but starting point guard because there's only about 5 S tier starting point guards, and this guy is the captain of his team. He has proven that he can do well in the playoffs. You know, he was with Luka Doncic in the Mavs, what feels like forever ago. Went to the Knicks. Everyone thought it was a bad deal. He ends up just completely showing out, completely showing why he's a really, really good player. And yeah, it's just amazing to see his career storyline go. And it's impressive nonetheless. Now, again, I don't say he's an S type of player because when you group up all the players together, he's not on the LeBron James skill level, the Nikola Jokic, the Giannis, the Shea. But as a point guard, he's definitely an S tier point guard. You cannot go wrong with him. Cade Cunningham, in my opinion, we haven't seen it in the playoffs, but he is an S tier point guard. Anyway, he is an S tier point guard. Reason being is he does everything that you could need of him and more. My biggest gripe with him is his turnovers, but just like a young James Harden was, he was kind of a high risk, high reward player where, yeah, you know, he does make those tough passes, those thread the needle kind of passes, but it doesn't always work well. Or sometimes they're just outright bad passes. They're not good. But with Cade Cunningham, he is just an absolute scorer in all 3 levels, from up close to mid to 3-point level. I might be too high on Anfernee Simons, by the way, but I think DeJounte Murray has really just fallen off a cliff here with his value. Someone with the Spurs who could really get you a triple-double to someone who, it's been exposed. His offensive game is a little bit lackluster. I mean, he becomes passive too much at times, and when he's overly aggressive, he can really just kill your offense with, you know, these 5 for 20s, 5 for 19 kind of field goal. I think this one is a clear-cut case of B, just again because very, very inconsistent. Someone who, you know, with the Spurs had a lot of potential, and, you know, going to the Hawks and the Pelicans, and of course the Achilles tear. His career just really hasn't been the same. Keep it going, though. We got Darius Garland. Darius Garland is an easy A-tier point guard. Again, I might be too high on Anfernee Simons the more I list these out. I think what I'm going to do is this. Yeah. I feel better doing this. So, if you ask me who I think is better right now, Cade Cunningham or Damian Lillard, I definitely say Cade Cunningham. I think he manages the floor significantly better. But I think just seeing, you know, where Dame and Darius Garland are, I don't think Anfernee Simons is there yet. I would say he's borderline there, like he's getting there. More like an A- or a B+. Because I do think Anfernee Simons is better than DeJounte at this point in their careers. But keep it going. Wait, did I talk about Darius Garland? No, I didn't. Okay, so Darius Garland is an interesting case because people were sleeping on him last year. People were saying he wasn't that good. People were saying he wasn't that good, that he did not He did not deserve a big contract. And you know what? This year, with the way the Cavs are playing, him being such a big part of it as a playmaker and as a three-point scorer, and really just as a scorer in all three levels again, it's been a phenomenal change to see, especially as someone who, I've been a fan of Darius Garland. I'm not going to say a Cavs fan by any means, but it's been really nice to see. D'Angelo Russell, you don't want him as a starting point guard. I'm not going to say F, but you could argue F, but you don't want D'Angelo Russell as your starting point guard. I'm going to leave it at that. De'Aaron Fox is a good one. I think this one is actually lower A. My biggest gripe with De'Aaron Fox is his hustle at times seems to be a bit off. His attitude at times can be a bit off. The whole fallout with Sacramento was a bit frustrating just as an outsider looking in. And yeah, I'm not going to say that this guy isn't capable of playing like an S tier in the fourth quarter, but it seems like he waits till the fourth quarter to really just kick things into high gear. And that's a bit frustrating to watch as a fan because you know what he's capable of. This guy's talent is off the roof, and you want to see this more consistently, but definitely lower A right now. Tyrese Halliburton still A. He started off the season really, really, really poorly. My thing that I think people just forget about is this guy got hurt in the playoffs or before the playoffs and, nagging injury, then just outright got hurt, missed the second round, had a rehab, get ready for the Olympics, goes into the Olympics with that same nagging injury, doesn't get a lot of run, so doesn't have time to really rehab it and to, improve on it. Then the Olympics finishes, then he gets his off season, but it's super short and he's back into the regular season. So he starts the regular season, really not great. Now he's picking things up. Now he's significantly better. I think people really were just dismissive of, his off season trials and tribulations, if you will. But I would still say Tyrese is an A tier point guard. James Harden is interesting because, you think James Harden, you think playmaker, you think scorer, never been a good defender. But my biggest gripe with James at this point in his career is the playoff performances. I mean, in the regular season, definitely this. But the playoffs, I think, just kill this guy. Unlike Cade, where you haven't seen him there, we've seen James there, and it's never been pretty. Just a bunch of lackluster performances after lackluster performances. As a regular starting point guard, though, you can't go wrong leaving it an A. But just, the whole season throughout, I would say B, because in the playoffs, he's faltered time and time again. Jordan Poole's an interesting one because he's on the Wizards. And if you're on the Wizards, your stats are going to be inflated because no one else is really there to take up anything that you do. I think right now, at this point in Jordan Poole's career, I'd still classify him as a C. I know people see that and they're like, no way. How? He's averaging 20 on the Wizards. Yeah, he's averaging 20 on the Wizards. You know how much easier it is to just take shots when no one's there to actually command those shots and really be a focal point of the offense? He went into a team that had nobody. It's just the reality of it. Washington Wizards fans don't want to hear that, but until he goes to a good team or a competing team, if the Wizards compete in his point again in his career while he's on the team, you can't really say Jordan Poole's anything better than, arguably, I guess, a B, but it's just, you can't really say that. Very, very inconsistent, very wild. I did post a video about Jordan Poole if you guys want to check that out. You can get my analysis there. But until it's done on another team, or if this team suddenly becomes a bit more competitive, it's going to have to be C or B. I'm leaving it at C for now. Going into Jrue Holiday, he's been on a huge decline this season, to be honest with you. Things have not been the same. But just taking in the playoffs, he's going to be at B. In terms of regular season, man, he's taking a huge decline. Offensively, this guy does not look the same. Still a really good defender, but oh man, Jrue Holiday. Kyrie Irving still to this very day, insanely good point guard. At his best, he's an S tier. Typically, you're not going to get S tier Kyrie just because he's very inconsistent with his performances. And, you know, if you see his performance against the Warriors, you think, well, how is that not S tier? That performance is. The problem is that he's been all over the place and retaining that consistency. So LaMelo Ball is consistently injured, but when he's on the court, he's an S tier. I mean, there's literally no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This guy on the court is averaging 28 points per game, literally letting it fly at an all-time crazy rate because he needs those shots in Charlotte. And you could compare the Jordan Poole to the LaMelo Ball thing. The difference is the LaMelo Ball has been doing it a lot longer, and he's been doing it a lot more elite, at a lot more of an elite level. And you can tell it's night and day when LaMelo Ball's on the court. This Hornets team is just so different. They are so different. But LaMelo Ball just needs to be on the court, and it's honestly scary what a team could do with him if he's on the court. That is always the big if, though, because he has not been on the court. Luka Doncic, same thing. I mean, dude, I don't even need to say it. He's literally the best point guard in the league right now. Aside from Shea, you could say Shea's better right now, but I mean, come on. I don't even need to make a point about Luka. He's S tier. Anyone who wants to argue against me with that, honestly, I don't even know what to tell you. You guys ever see Friends where Joey says it's a moo point and they're like, oh, what do you mean moo point? He's like, well, if a cow said something, you wouldn't care because it's a cow. Moo. So for me, it's like, if you say Luka's not an S tier, it's kind of a moo point. I don't give a shit. Anyway, Malik Monk. As a starting point guard, he's not really a pass-first player. I would not go with Malik Monk as a B tier. I would leave Malik Monk as a C tier. Definitely capable of being a really good role player for any given team. But as your starting point guard, I wouldn't go that route. Tyrese Maxey at this point in his career, he is just outright playing like an S tier point guard. Mike Conley at this point in his career is not a starting point guard. I have made a executive decision I didn't want to leave him alone, so we're going to put D'Lo and Mike Conley there at F. IQ, if he could be healthy, would be low C, but he's never healthy. This season he's been F because of availability, but we haven't really been judging guys off that most of the time for most of the part, so we'll leave it at C. Colin Sexton is not D. I mean, I don't even need to really get into it with these guys. It's basketball that you hate to see sometimes because they're on shitty teams and or they're just washed, like Mike Conley's case. But D'Angelo Russell just doesn't play defense. He lets it fly, and shooting rate, his field goal percentage has just gone down. Colin Sexton, I mean, it's just a shitty team. It's not the best ball movement. It's just frustrating basketball to watch. And like I said, IQ just is not healthy. Emmanuel Quickley. I don't need to elaborate further, I hope. Again, though, Steph Curry is S tier. Out of respect for the dynasty, out of respect for what he's doing since Jimmy got there, out of respect for him being able to take over any single freaking game. But again, I will clarify, Kyrie has been better than Steph this season. So for those of you that are saying, why is Kyrie an A? I will feed your egos a little bit. Kyrie has been better than Steph this season, but I still think Steph is the better player right now. Jalen Suggs is not a starting point guard. He's not someone who you want to rely on as a playmaker. I mean, this Magic team has Franz to do that. Terry Rozier, I mean, you could argue even fucking F tier. He's been bad. He's been really bad. Honestly, I'm leaning towards it. I'll leave it there for now. I think at this point with DNF, it's just for, cosmetics at this point. But then you have Trae Young, and I would put him right here. Yeah. No, wait. Maybe. Yes. I'm having trouble with Trae Young and Cade Cunningham. Just because Cade has really just taken leaps and bounds this season. He's like so freaking good. We're going to rock with Trae Young, though. It's without question, he's S tier. The way he playmakes, the way he scores, the way he can get to the free throw line, Defensively, he's such a liability, but what he lacks in defense, he more than makes for it in offense. Trae Young is an easy S. You know, oh, I left Shea at B, by the way. He's the best. Yeah, no, Shea is... Yeah, Shea's number one. Right now, he's going to win MVP. He's number one. Ty Jones is interesting because, my opinion, he's not really to anywhere near B level, but he's respectable. I would say like right here, maybe here. Again, Emmanuel Quickley, when healthy, could be so freaking good. Let me just do this real quick. I didn't organize C at all, but I would put Jordan or Fred up there. Drew Holiday has been lackluster this season, but I think come playoff time, he'd still be really, really, really good. So looking at the list in the whole, though, as a whole, though, I think it goes without question to say that Shea and Luka easily S tier. Steph Curry, paying my respects, paying my dues, and I still think today he can take over any game better than most of these players, if not all of these players, in terms of just a takeover. Jalen Brunson, captain, heart and soul of the Knicks. Cade Cunningham, the rising star right now, I think more than anyone in the game. Trae Young, easy S. Ice Trae, been consistent from the get, to be honest with you. LaMelo Ball, if he can stay on the court, is another all-NBA caliber player. Tyrese Maxey, you know, he's faced injuries, but he's literally carried the Sixers team more than anyone on that team. And there's a lot of disappointments on that team. The only flack I feel like someone can give me is maybe Kyrie in A. You could argue Kyrie in S. I just don't think he's towards Cade Cunningham's level right now. I don't think he's towards Luka, Shea, Steph, Jalen. Like, I don't think they're the same tier of players right now. Damian Lillard, same thing. John Morant, same thing. I mean, got to get on the court for one, and then you got to be able to post what the top guys do right now, and he's really not been doing that. But let me know what you guys think. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? I apologize in advance for distracting you guys with a baby, but she's my baby, so deal with it. Anyway, I greatly appreciate you guys for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe. It goes a long way into helping the channel. This is Ollie Been Different, and Baby Been Different, and we are both out.